You won't believe what happened when I refused to my sister's wedding. Family drama. The sun hung low that day, casting eerie shadows across the garden where Maya's wedding was set to take place. Guests lined the beautiful white chairs, each one whispering and watching, waiting for the moment to unfold. What no one anticipated was the storm that would brew not outside, but in the heart of the family. Suddenly, the air thickened with tension, swirling like the dark clouds that loomed menacingly above. It was as if the universe knew something was about to break, something far more significant than a simple wedding. Maya stood there, radiant and poised, her wedding dress a cascade of ivory lace, glimmering in the tainted light. But her smile faltered the moment she saw her sister Miranda's expression, hollow, tight-lipped, like an empty well. There had been whispers, fierce and biting, weaving through the family, but no one could have imagined this. Miranda took a deep breath and stepped forward, her heart pounding louder than the distant thunder. It felt as if the world, the manicured roses and prayer flags were watching, waiting to see what would erupt next. Just then, a dog began to bark furiously from the edge of the garden, as if sensing the incoming tempest. A sudden hush fell over the crowd, the kind that makes your skin crawl. Every eye fixated on Miranda when finally she spoke. Her voice trembled. "I can't support this. Not like this." Every word sliced through the air, sharp and jagged, leaving a gaping wound of shock and disbelief. Gasps echoed. Almost instinctively, guests shifted in their seats, eyes darting. Was this really happening? Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. With the crowd now in full chaos, murmurs bounced off the once serene walls. What on earth is she doing? Someone hissed, while another replied, "Is she really going to ruin this?" Miranda's heart raced. There was no turning back now. Her decision felt weighty, like a rock lodged in her throat. She could feel the heat of stairs colliding against her skin. But the storm above finally unleashed its fury, a torrential downpour soaking everything in an instant. Guests gasped, scrambling for cover, but the real storm brewed between the sisters. As rain mixed with the tension, Maya's lips quivered with rage or pain. It was impossible to tell. But the real question loomed overhead. What had pushed Miranda to so brazenly rebel against family tradition? Why had she chosen this moment to voice her dissent? In that moment, surrounded by chaos and thunder, they stood firm against the fears that tethered them. A secret larger than the wedding loomed, one that could unravel everything. What had become of their bond? Would this be the end of sisterhood, or would it unveil a truth too powerful to ignore? The rain poured down as if the sky itself were mourning. Guests scrambled, hungry for shelter, shoving one another in their panic. Miranda remained frozen, battling between guilt and a fierce need to be heard. This was not merely about Maya's wedding, it was about them, about family, and about truths longing to burst forth like the storm around them. Maya shook with rage, her eyes darting around for support. The silence that hung in the air felt heavy, punctuated only by the sound of raindrops exploding against the flowered arches. "You're making a scene, Miranda. This isn't the place." She finally shot back, her voice rising over the thunder. Miranda stood her ground. "Then tell me where the right place is. Because I can't just pretend everything is fine when it's not." As the words escaped her lips, her pulse raced, and she felt the world around her blur. The crowd bore silent witness, tension etched on their faces, like statues cemented in shock. A distant relative leaned over to another, whispering, "Look at Maya's face. She won't forgive this." Miranda felt each whisper slice through her, each gasp like knives thrusting into her resolve. Yet, there was a flicker of determination ignited deep inside her, pushing her to continue. "This isn't the life you dream of, Maya. You know it." Maya's expression shifted, from shock to disbelief to fury. The glimmer in her eye threatened to give way to tears, but she held that back with her fierce pride. "What would you know about my dreams, Miranda? Always the know-it-all." The crowd shifted again, faces shifting from disgust to curiosity. A few even exchanged worried glances as if feeling the weight of inevitable family fallout. "Do you want to know what I know?" Miranda pressed on, voice louder than the chaotic storm. "I know about the calls you've been making, the nights you've spent lying to Mom and Dad. I overheard you." A collective intake of breath echoed through the crowd, mixed with the sound of raindrops. In that moment, Maya's defenses crumbled. "What? You eavesdropped? You have no right to write? This is all about rights? You did this to yourself, Maya." Miranda could barely maintain her composure, the truth begging to break free. "You're marrying the wrong person, and everyone knows it. Everyone but you." Miranda's words lingered like an electric jolt, catching the crowd in their grip. Murmurs erupted, whispers of betrayal, of family drama, of loyalties tested. Just then, a deafening clap of thunder shook the ground beneath them, a violent reminder of how dangerously fragile their bond had become. Maya stepped back, nearly stumbling. Inches away from her footing, the truth loomed, all of it knocking against them like the relentless rain. What happened next was unimaginable. The best man, who had remained silent all along, suddenly stepped forward. His face white as a ghost, he said, "I think we need to discuss something." Every pair of eyes shifted towards him, uncertainty and shock washing over the crowd. What revelation would come next? What hidden truths did he hold, and how would they change everything? Miranda's heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of dread and anticipation. Could this moment bury them all, or would it heal the bond they thought unbreakable? Only the storm knows what's coming next. The best man swallowed hard, his eyes darting nervously between Maya and Miranda. The rain kept pounding, but the tension created a different kind of storm, a tightness that gripped the chests of everyone present. Murmurs erupted once more, rising above the thunder, barely giving them a moment to breathe as all eyes settled anxiously on him. Maybe now isn't the best time," he started, stammering, his composure crumbling under the pressure. "No, Trevor. Speak up," Maya urged, her voice teetering on the edge of hysteria. "If you've got something to say, say it." He inhaled deeply, glancing around as if searching for a sanctuary in the sea of glares aimed at him. I've known about Maya's calls. The ones she's kept secret. The ones about Jason." Miranda's breath caught in her throat. Jason, the groom? Questions flooded her mind. How much did Trevor really know? What secret could possibly overshadow the thunderous revelation just dropped? With every syllable, the crowd leaned closer, hungry for the truth. Even the pouring rain fell silent for a heartbeat as whispers intermingled with rumbling thunder, creating an eerie soundscape of anticipation. Maya's face blanched, and her mouth formed a perfect O as realization sunk in. "You promised you wouldn't say anything," she hissed through clenched teeth, indignation spilling from her eyes. But Trevor wasn't backing down. "That was before all this," he argued, his voice gaining strength. "There's stuff going on that you haven't told anyone, stuff that could change everything." "Stop it. You don't know what you're talking about," Maya shouted, desperation leaking into her voice. She was fighting a battle against shadows she couldn't face, but Trevor stood firm. "I might not, but I know enough," he pressed, launching into a confession that hung thick with implications. "You called me last week, Maya. You said you didn't love him. You said you were thinking of backing out." The crowd exhaled, a collective breathlessness capturing the moment. Faces changed from shock to sympathy and confusion, like a gallery of painted expressions frozen in time. Miranda could feel the weight of their gaze wrap around her, straining against the storm outside as if that press of judgment could somehow change the tide. She glanced at Maya, who looked unravaged, trapped in a tidal wave of chaos she had been attempting to control. "Is this true?" Miranda asked, her heart breaking for her sister, torn between standing by her and demanding honesty. "Did you want out? Is that why you've been lying? What?" Maya's voice wavered, thin as glass, before she gathered herself. "This is not how it's supposed to go. Everyone knows how much I love Jason. Yet here we are. Trevor injected, the urgency in his tone cracking like lightning. You're marrying him under false pretenses. You've got to get a grip on this. Miranda could feel the wave of emotion crashing over her, eroding whatever slim foundation Maya had built around her fears. The need for a reckoning loomed between them, raw and unrelenting. Suddenly, in the midst of the chaos, Jason emerged from the chaos, drenched but determined. He looked wildly between the three of them, confusion etched on his face. What is going on? Why is everyone shouting? Jason, wait. Maya cried, but there was a panic in her voice that didn't bode well. The crowd surged forward, whispers vibrating like a storm about to explode. No one knew what would happen next, not as long as thunder and rain drowned out the truth. Would love reign in the chaos, or would the storm take everything down with it? The eye of the storm had just opened, revealing a depth to their web of secrets that they had never seen coming. What hidden truths waited to be unveiled, and how would it all unravel from here? Maya felt the ground shift beneath her feet as Jason stepped closer, the look on his face a mix of confusion and hurt. What the hell is going on? He demanded, the anger simmering beneath the surface. His soaked suit clung to him, mirroring the intensity of emotions swirling around. Trevor, sensing the gravity of the moment, clenched his fists, battling the urge to flip their lives upside down even further. Jason, he said, his voice steady yet strained, Maya has something important to tell you. Something you deserve to know before it's too late. But I'm right here. Maya shouted, desperation bubbling into rage. I didn't ask for this. Nobody asked for this. Don't drag me into a fight. The storm outside howled, as if picking up on the brewing tempest in the room. The crowd, now buzzing like a hive awakened, shifted uncertainly. Relationships hung by a thread, and the uncertainty pulsated in the air. Is it true? Jason's voice sliced through the murmurs, eyes locked onto Maya like a spotlight. Did you really think about leaving me? Maya hesitated, each word launching from her lips like a grenade. I can't explain everything right now. It's complicated. Complicated? Jason echoed, his voice laced with disbelief. Complicated doesn't give you the right to play with my life, Maya. What does that even mean? Miranda saw the pain etched on her sister's face, and it broke her heart. But the truth lay heavily in the air, begging to be acknowledged. Maybe you should listen to Trevor, she said quietly, struggling to find her voice. It's clear there's something you're not telling us. Maya opened her mouth to protest, but the words were swallowed by Jason's hard glare. What is it then? Just tell me. Please, he lowered his voice, a trembling vulnerability slipping through. Because if you want out, I need to know. Every eye in the room burned on Maya, the weight growing unbearable, like the pressure before an explosion. It's not that simple. I love you, Jason. But I'm scared. Scared of what? Jason pressed, frustration spearing through the air like raw electricity. Me? Us? What's so scary about marrying the man you supposedly love? Maybe she doesn't love you like she thinks she does, Trevor countered, aiming his words directly at Maya, his tone firm but concerned. Maybe she's confused. Or maybe stop. Maya snapped, her voice raw and undignified. You don't get to decide for me. Tears welled in her eyes, raw emotion mingling with the rain hammering against the windows. The murmurs from the crowd shifted, some echoed sympathy, while others seethed with judgment. Jason stood, fists balled, torn between disbelief and the devastation of betrayal. So, what do you want? Should I take off the ring? No, Maya shouted, her voice breaking. It was no longer just a plea, it was a desperate grasp at a fleeting dream. I'm just lost. In the silence that ensued, everyone could hear the rain's steady rhythm, each drop accentuating the heartbeats echoing in that crowded room. People shifted uncomfortably as they searched for answers that eluded them, their empathy drowned by the unfolding drama. Miranda felt torn as she battled her own whirlpool of emotions. How did one sister navigate the storm that swirled around another? What was the truth here? In that moment, Jason stepped closer, bridging the distance. Maya, he said, inching closer, this isn't just about you. I deserve to know the truth. You owe me that much. Maya trembled, feeling reduced to nothing before so many eyes, and the truth clawed at her from inside, demanding release. The storm outside broke into a torrential downpour, the heavens unleashing fury that echoed their fractured world. As she opened her mouth to finally speak, to breach the gulf of fear that had kept her silent. A deafening crash of thunder echoed, drowning out her voice and resetting the tension in the air. What had she really been hiding all this time? Would the truth bring them closer together, or would it sever their already fragile bond for good? Maya's heart raced as she felt every set of eyes on her. The pressure was suffocating, and the storm outside mirrored the chaos swirling inside her mind. Jason's challenge hung in the air, palpable and heavy, pressing her toward a breaking point. The next words could shatter everything. Just as she was about to speak, Trevor's voice pierced the tension again. Maya, maybe it's not just what you feel. What about what you've done? The crowd gasped collectively. Fists tightened, breaths caught. Whispering rippled through the room like an electric current. Jason's expression morphed from hurt to something darker, something like fear. What does he mean? He asked, his tone low and dangerous. Maya's stomach sank. She wanted to scream at Trevor to stop, to push him away, but the truth clenched at her throat, threatening to choke her. How could she ever explain? The consequences of revealing everything loomed like a storm cloud ready to burst. The air thickened with anxiety, but everyone remained fixated on her. Jason took a step back, shaking his head slowly, as if trying to reassemble the pieces of their life together in his mind. You've done something? He whispered, the pain breaking through his bravado. No, Maya cried out, her voice echoing through the room, desperate and raw. I've been lost, Jason. I haven't done anything to hurt you, but what? Jason snarled, the tremor in his voice unraveling into rage. You want to leave me standing here not knowing the truth while you hide behind vague fears? You owe me this. With a heavy sigh, she inhaled, feeling the suffocation wrap around her chest. The rain battered against the windows like a wild beast, sending a chill through her bones. Fine, she shouted, surprising even herself. You want the truth? I didn't just think about leaving, Jason. I was ready to go. When I saw you with her, it broke something in me. Stunned silence enveloped the room, all attention now shifting to the ramifications of her admission. Jason's face drained of color, and the crowd collectively leaned in, excitement and disbelief mingling in their eyes. Her? Jason finally managed, disbelief choking his words. Who the hell is her? The tension thickened, savoring the shock of betrayal as it drifted through the group, enthralling their hunger for drama. You know, she murmured, tears blurring her vision. The new intern? The one you've been spending time with at work. A murmur of realization traveled through the group, eliciting a chorus of gasps. Jason's expression shifted, hurt mingling with indignation. So all this time, this is what you were scared of? He asked, his voice trembling now with vulnerability. Did you think I'd betray you? I didn't, know. I just felt like you were slipping away. Like I was losing you. Her voice was cracking under the weight of despair. I thought that if I left, it would hurt less than watching you choose someone else over me. Each word struck with the force of a thunderclap, awakening a cacophony of emotions in Jason's eyes. The room seemed to sway, caught in the rising tide of drama and despair. Suddenly, the lights flickered ominously, just as Jason stepped closer once again, closing the gap. Maya, do you trust me? His eyes bore into hers, sincerity battling with disbelief. But before she could respond, a loud crash interrupted them. The power flickered out, plunging the room into darkness, leaving only the sound of heavy rain and panicked voices. In that moment of utter chaos, Maya's thoughts spiraled. Was there still hope for them in this mess? The shadows lurked ominously, a prelude to what might come next. Let us find the lights, Trevor prompted, fumbling in the dark as panic set in. Maya felt the tension electric around her, a surge of whispers filling the void. Would they find a light? Or were they all destined to be consumed by their hidden truths, buried deeper than the storm that raged outside? The unanswered questions loomed heavily, begging the next revelation. Who was really in danger of being lost? What secrets lay beneath the surface, waiting to be unleashed in the Darkest of moments? Maya blinked into the dark, her heart pounding louder than the storm outside. The crowd was a mass of confusion, their voices becoming a chaotic symphony of uncertainty. She could feel the weight of their fear pressing against her, and she realized she was right in the eye of the storm. Go to the back. Check the generator. Someone shouted, breaking through the darkness. It was Trevor, whose frantic tone cut through her haze, urging people into action. Footsteps scrambled around her, but Maya felt cemented in place. The shadows seemed to pulse, mirroring her racing thoughts. Jason? She called, her voice a quivering whisper. Silence responded, the kind that felt like a noose tightening around her throat. Maya, over here. Jason's voice finally broke the dark, but it was distant, reverberating off the walls, laced with an unsettling edge. She managed to drift towards it, her hands outstretched like a moth drawn to flame. Do you need to get away for a moment? He asked, and the chill in his voice sent shards of ice down her spine. No. I need you to just then. Another crash echoed through the room, and Maya barely managed to suppress a scream. The sounds of scattered footsteps and heightened whispers encircled them as chaos reverberated around. A flicker of light illuminated the room, catching fleeting glimpses of fraught expressions. Trevor stumbled back, clutching his arm as if he had bumped into something unexpected. What the hell is happening? He gasped. Keep calm, Jason shouted, clearly attempting to take charge. We need to stay together. Maya's pulse quickened. The vulnerability in Jason's voice clawed at her conscience. Jason, I can explain. Explain? You want to explain now? His voice cracked, betraying his simmering anger. Now that the lights are out and everyone's on edge, what do you think is going to happen? Slivers of light danced across the room as someone found a flashlight. It illuminated Jason's face, revealing the anger smoldering in his eyes. You're afraid of losing me, and here we are, trapped in this darkness, both unsure of what's next. No, Jason shoo. Do you hear that? Trevor interrupted, his voice now barely above a whisper. The thunder outside had turned into a growl, reverberating through the house. But it wasn't just the storm. There was something else, something more sinister. Maya strained her ears, and her stomach knotted with dread. Beneath the sounds of nature gone wild, another sound crept forth, a low, rumbling growl. Was it a figment of her imagination, or was something lurking in the shadows? Jason turned suddenly, face transfigured with worry. We need to get out of here. Now! The piercing sound of splintering wood echoed from the back of the house, followed by distant hushed whispers. It felt like a warning shot fired straight into the air. Jason grabbed Maya's arm, moving towards the door when suddenly the lights flickered back on, illuminating a scene that froze her in place. A crowd surged towards the front, eyes wide with terror. A stranger lurked at the threshold, drenched and wild-eyed, blocking their escape. Who are you? Someone shouted, panic rippling through the crowd. Maya's body froze as the figure stepped forward, water dripping like venom from his hair. You think you can hide the truth? He roared, his voice cutting through the tension. This storm is just the beginning. Maya's heart dropped. Was this man linked to her secrets? What truth could he possibly know? As Jason moved to shield her, she caught his gaze, his confusion mirroring her own. They both stood on the precipice of something far deeper than betrayal. What lay ahead? The storm outside seemed to pale in comparison to the chaos burgeoning within the walls, and for a fleeting moment, Maya feared they had all been lured into a trap. What truth was about to be revealed, and would they all emerge unscathed? Maya's breathing quickened, a sharpness in her throat as she tried to formulate words. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. The stranger's presence loomed large, creating an instant chasm of dread in the room. The crowd shifted nervously, eyes darting between Maya and the ominous figure. What do you mean, the truth? Trevor's voice cut through, demanding answers. The stranger seemed to relish the tension as his lips curled into a sinister smile. The truth about your little gathering here, he spat, emphasizing the word little. You think you're safe? You're just pawns in a game far beyond your understanding. Maya's pulse raced. She felt Jason's hand tighten around her wrist. We're not playing games, Jason shot back, his voice rising. Get out of our way. No, you need to listen. The stranger leaned forward, dripping onto the floor, creating puddles that reflected the harsh overhead lights. This house has secrets. Things you buried. Things that come alive in the storm. A collective shudder swept through the crowd. Maya felt her breath hitch, a familiar horror creeping up her spine. She had buried secrets, truths she wished could stay hidden, but this felt different. What could he possibly know? Stop. Someone yelled from the flock, their voice shaky. What do you want from us? I want you to see. He shouted, his voice rising over the chaos. You think you're just here for an innocent night? No, this storm was summoned. It came for you. Maya could feel panic rising in her chest, her heart hammering with every beat. The flickering lights sparked against the wall, creating shadows that morphed into monstrous shapes. Was he right? Had she unwittingly invited chaos into their lives? Jason moved closer, a protective barrier between Maya and the stranger. What do you know about us? He demanded, his voice low and steady, but Maya could see the uncertainty underneath. The stranger chuckled, a sound devoid of warmth. Everything. I know about the hidden past that your family doesn't speak of. I know about the betrayal and the lies. He pointed directly at Maya, his finger a snake's tongue poised to strike. And I know about you, Maya. Your choices haunt you. They've come back to collect. Shut up. Trevor shouted, desperation leaking into his voice. You're just trying to scare us. But instead of backing down, the stranger stepped forward, eyes blazing. The storm isn't a coincidence. It's here to reveal the truth, and once it starts, it won't stop until it gets what it wants. The air seemed to thicken with tension. Maya felt sick. Memories flooded her mind, those dark moments she'd fought to forget but couldn't escape. She couldn't help but glance around the room at the faces of her friends. Were they connected to these secrets? As a sudden gust of wind barreled through the house, slamming doors and whipping the curtains, a chilling realization gripped her. The storm was not just weather, it had become a harbinger of her past. What do you want? Jason finally asked, voice trembling slightly. I want you to unlock the door to your fears, the man hissed, raising his arms as if inviting the storm to join in. You'll feel them soon enough. With that, the lights flickered once more before plunging them back into darkness, this time deeper, thicker, like a suffocating veil. Maya squeezed Jason's hand, her heart deafeningly loud in the silence. Then, without warning, a loud crash resonated from somewhere deep inside the house, followed by screams. Run! Jason shouted, pulling Maya towards the nearest exit. But as they turned, the stranger laughed, a sound that echoed ominously in the black. You can't escape the truth. It will find you just like it found me. The panic erupted anew, all sense of direction lost. But when they stumbled through the door, what awaited them outside was an unfolding nightmare. Maya's eyes widened as the first flashes of lightning revealed figures in the shadows, moving towards them, each step heavier than the last. What were they? What truth awaited them out there, cloaked in the storm? We need to move, Jason yelled. Again. But could they outrun their past, especially when the truth was howling like the storm around them? As they bolted into the chaos, Maya knew one thing for sure. Everything was about to change, and she wasn't sure they would survive it. The wind howled like a beast, thrashing around Maya and Jason as they stumbled outside. Rain poured relentlessly, drenching them in seconds. The shadows in the distance had begun to take form, revealing faces twisted with agony. Emaciated figures crept closer, shrouded in naked fear and despair. Maya, look! Jason's voice broke through the tempest's roar, but when she turned, it wasn't just figures she saw, it was memories. Visions of her past circled, each one sharp and painful. The storm had conjured not just the present terror, but her buried regrets. Why are they here? She whispered, her voice barely audible above the torrential downpour. They're not just shadows. They look familiar. Jason murmured, squinting into the gloom. Keep moving. He grabbed her wrist. There was more urgency in his grip now. They had to escape these ghosts, whatever they were. As they dashed away from the looming shapes, a crack of lightning split the sky, illuminating a skeletal tree that twisted like a tortured soul. Maya felt its gnarled branches reach toward her as if inviting her to reveal what was hidden inside. But she couldn't. Not now. Over there. Jason pointed to a small shack barely visible in the distance. It looked abandoned, but they had no choice. They sprinted towards it, hearts racing. The crashing thunder echoed like laughter behind them, mocking their fear. Once inside, the rotting wood creaked beneath them. The stale air was thick, almost suffocating, as they took stock of their surroundings. Old newspapers littered the floor, their headlines blurred but resonant. Maya could make out words like mystery and haunted. Each was like a punch to her gut. What if the storm? Maya started, glancing nervously at the door. Jason was already rummaging through the debris. There must be something in here, something that can help us. Just then, a flash silhouette darted past the cracked window, causing Maya to flinch. It hadn't been a figment of her imagination. It was one of the figures, drawn inexplicably to the shack. They're getting closer, she gasped. Stay quiet. We need to listen and figure this out, Jason said sharply, crouching low. But Maya was drawn back to the memories the storm had unearthed, those whispering regrets. The decisions that had driven a wedge between her and those she loved. Had she really summoned them? Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from outside, followed by a voice that reverberated through the rain-soaked air. Maya, come back. It's not over. The voice sent icy fingers crawling up her spine. It was too familiar. No, she breathed, recognition dawning with dread. It can't be. Jason's eyes widened. Maya. The voice called again, and this time, it sounded desperate, fragile. Please. It was her sister, her own flesh and blood. The one person she had kept away from all of this, from her dark past, from everything they had buried long ago. Torn between fleeing and answering, Maya felt time suspend around her. The storm raged on, but the turmoil inside her was far more tempestuous. They know, Jason whispered, understanding the gravity of the moment. What do you want to do? We need to confront it, Maya choked, feeling a wave of fury and sorrow ripple through her. We need to put it all on the table. But as she stepped closer to the door, the shadows outside shifted and swirled, their forms morphing. Everything was connected, each scream, each wail of sorrow. Just then, the door creaked open, a gust of wind pushing it ajar. And there she stood, drenched and wild-eyed, the irrefutable, painful truth personified. Maya, I'm here to bring you home, her sister said, her voice trembling with emotion. In that moment, everything began to unravel, a thread being pulled that would expose the hidden knots of their family history. But what did that mean for Maya? Would she find resolution, or was this confrontation merely the beginning of a deeper nightmare? Before she could answer, a bone-chilling scream pierced the night, one that promised to unravel them all. What awaited them beyond the door could change everything, but would it free them or drive them further into darkness? The air thickened as Maya's sister stepped into the shack, the storm raging behind her. Rain dripped from her hair, pooling on the floor like tears. Jason crouched lower, his eyes darting from Maya to the door, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. What are you doing here? Maya blurted, the panic in her voice mixing with anger. You shouldn't be here. Her sister's eyes flicked to Jason, then back to Maya, full of an emotion that twisted in her gut. I came to find you. You need to face this. You can't keep running from what you did. What I did. The accusation hit harder than the rain pounding against the roof. You don't know anything. But deep down, she felt the truth gnawing at her insides. The storm was more than just the weather outside. It was a manifestation of her darkest secrets, swirling, demanding attention. Maya, please, her sister pleaded. I can help you, but you have to let me in. You can't fight this alone. Lightning slashed through the darkness again, illuminating the anguish on their faces. The shadows outside pressed against the windows, their motions echoing Maya's turbulent emotions, merging dread with a desperate hope. Help me with what? Maya whispered, her voice trembling. The vulnerability felt foreign, stark against the bubbling rage. To confront them. Her sister's voice was steady now, as if she was tapping into something ancient and unshakable. You're past the choices you made, all of it. Behind them, the shadows twisted and contorted, turning into fleeting figures, memories made flesh. They licked at the edges of the shack like flames. Each face mirrored Maya's regrets, unforgivable actions, lost connections. Their sorrow was now her own. Maya. The desperate voice rang out again, piercing the dimness, but this time it wasn't just her sister's. It was a chorus, echoing from the depths, broken promises from loved ones who once trusted her. In that instant, anger boiled over. You think I want this? You think I wanted to hurt you? Maya, Jason said softly, but the noise in her mind drowned him out. The past shapes us, but it doesn't have to define us. His words hung in the air, heavy yet liberating. Could she break free from these chains? Was staying stuck in the shadows all she truly knew? Maya, listen. Her sister urged, stepping closer. Every time you push me away, you're letting them win. You're burying the truth deeper. You don't have to carry this. Maya felt something shift inside her. A taut string stretching beyond its limits, threatening to snap. All those years of silence, of hiding behind haunted memories, were catching up. The shadows morphed outside, almost listening, waiting for her response. We can face them together, her sister offered, reaching out. As her hand extended, a deafening boom echoed around them. The ground trembled, shaking fragments of the shack loose. Maya, it's now or never, Jason urged, eyes wide with concern. The door creaked ominously, as if the shadows outside were offering a final invitation. Should she step out? Face the storm and the memories lurking within it? Or was retreating into the darkness the safest option? The screams intensified, a cacophony of pain and sorrow. They promised revelations, but also risked exposing deeper horrors. With her heart pounding, Maya looked between her sister and the door, the shadows writhing outside like serpents. She took a shuddering breath, prepared to confront everything she feared. But just then, the ground rumbled again, more violently this time, shaking the very foundation of their reality. Maya, Jason called out, reaching for her. Before she could respond, a brilliant flash of lightning lit everything up, revealing a figure coming through the door, someone entirely unexpected, someone she thought was lost forever. Don't go, the apparition shouted, and with it came the weight of every decision she had ever made. Maya's heart raced. This was the moment. Would she embrace this reckoning or allow the shadows to swallow her whole? Maya stood frozen as the apparition stepped into the dim light, her heart pounding. Her breath hitched in her throat, a lump of mixed emotions. It was Jessica, her childhood friend, who had vanished years ago without a trace. Time couldn't soften the jagged pain of that loss. No, you're not real, Maya whispered, her voice shaky and raw. But Jess remained unwavering, her eyes wide and pleading. Maya, I am very real. And you need to listen. You're trying to outrun your truth, and it's tearing all of us apart. Jason instinctively tightened his grip on Maya's arm, his face a mask of confusion and protectiveness. What are you talking about? He demanded. How can she be here? The shadows outside surged forward, and the storm rattled the shack, but Maya's focus remained on Jess. You were my best friend, she barely managed to say, choking back tears, and I failed you. No, Jess replied, stepping closer, her voice steady as the storm raged on. You didn't fail me. You just didn't face what happened. But it's not too late, Maya. You can still confront the choices that hurt you and your family, before it destroys all of us. The collective fear and pain that wrapped itself around them felt almost tangible. It penetrated the walls of the shack, teasing at memories long buried, deepening the ache within her. Memories of laughter shared, of promises whispered under stars, and then silence, a chasm that had opened and swallowed so much. Together, we can face it, Jess urged again. But you need to let go of the fear that's gripping you. Maya felt the flicker of hope ignite in her chest, though fear tugged at her heartstrings. But what if exposing the truth destroys everything? She asked, desperate gaze switching between Jess and Jason. What if I lose you both? I would rather see you fight and stand in your truth than hide behind shadows, Jason replied firmly, his voice unwavering. Face it, Maya. You'll never be truly free until you do. Maya's trembling hands fell to her sides. The intensity of the moment pressed against her chest, but deep inside, the surge of courage rose, demanding to be recognized. At that moment, the shadows outside twisted and shrieked in anger as if sensing her resolve. "Here and now, Maya. Take it," Jess declared fiercely, a pulse of energy radiating from her. Maya inhaled deeply, filled with an urgency she hadn't realized she possessed. "I need to tell them," she murmured, glancing towards the door, the threshold between light and dark, between her past and the future. "Then do it," Jason urged, a mix of support and concern etched on his face. Maya stepped closer to the door, the wind pushing back against her. The shadows swirled, vibrant and alive, yet she felt a warmth radiate from Jess and Jason that compelled her forward. "I'm ready," she declared, voice steadier now. "No more running." With a resolute push, she flung open the door, the storm erupting in a violent roar. Wind whipped at her face, rain poured like a fierce baptism as the figures outside drew near, faces from her past mixing with her present. "What do you want from me?" she shouted, her voice cutting through the cacophony. The shadows stilled, revealing lost connections, faces of kin and friends, all merging into a chaotic mass of judgment and pain. "We want the truth, Maya," they murmured, a chorus interlaced with sorrow. "We want you to face the hurt you buried." "Yes," Jess shouted from beside her, grounding Maya. "You don't have to carry the weight alone anymore." Maya's heart raced as she stepped fully into the storm of her memories, eyes blazing with the steady fire of truth. She lifted her chin, the realization flooding her spirit. "I'm sorry," she called out to each shadow that mirrored her past mistakes, tears escaping her eyes. "I'm sorry for not being there, for letting you down." The tempest howled, the shadows shifted closer, but she didn't waver. "I will make amends," she shouted louder as rain poured, mingling with her tears. "For every choice I made that hurt you, I vow to confront these truths." The storm rumbled, shaking the ground beneath her feet, yet something began to dissolve within the chaos as the shadows whirled around her. They flickered, faces nodding as if acknowledging her renewed resolve. "You've stepped into the light, Maya," the voices wept, swirling slower now, softer. "Stay with us," Jason called, the fierce energy between them binding them tighter. As the storm began its retreat, breaking clouds ushered a glimmer of dawn. Maya felt Jess's warmth beside her, Jason's grounding strength against the rising tide of peace. The chaotic memories seemed to melt into the mist, leaving clarity in their wake. The storm was receding, leaving behind remnants of a turbulent past, but Maya stood resolute. She had faced the truth, submerged in the essence of everything that had haunted her, and emerged reborn. With a breath, she turned to Jess and Jason, both shadows and light intertwined. "Thank you for believing in me," she whispered, filled with gratitude as warmth enveloped them. As dawn broke, colors unfurling against the dark remnants of the storm, Maya knew they would move forward together. Broken ties could be mended, and love could thrive even amidst the remnants of chaos. Everything had changed, yes, but now they could bravely embrace whatever came next as family. Together. "Now, it's your turn. Don't let the story and all its surprises slip through your fingers." You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive tales we have in store. Smash that like button right now to boost the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section with your feelings and theories about this shocking conclusion. And if you care about your friends, share this video with at least 5 who need to join this journey. Don't wait even one more second. This is the moment to act.